Well, let me tell you something, brother.
Snort, snort, snort. Kogan. Drip. Snort, snort. I got the drip.
Hey everyone, Phil here again. And I find myself in a situation where, once again, I have to make a video to explain a situation and to give an answer to someone who has been basically bringing me up a lot lately. And I feel like I need to publicly talk about it again, even though I thought that this whole thing was over. I feel like it's best for me to actually bring it up publicly one more time, just to clear the air and let everyone know what's going on. Alright, so since last year, Keemstar has been trying to contact me. He's been publicly tweeting about me, threatening me and saying I absolutely must contact him or else. I did have a little bit of back and forth conversation with him in DMs on Twitter. He even made a series of little cutesy mini videos about me, discussing me from time to time. Oh, very flattering videos, by the way. And after having some discussions with him in DMs, I said, hey, let's talk further via email. He refused. He wanted to actually talk to me on the phone. Now, I found that kind of forward. I was like, whoa, well. All right, well, the thing is, I kind of had to give him my number because I'd been doxxed years ago. So if I didn't give him my number, he was going to have it anyway. I told him specific times to call, to have conversations. He didn't call me at those times. He was calling me instead at other times that were very intrusive to my life and my work schedule and things. It's kind of weird. And I specifically said, hey, I'll be open to talk during these times. Please call. And instead, he kind of invaded my private life and tried to call at other times, which was really weird. And at that point, I basically kind of ignored the situation, figured it would go away. It didn't. He continued to keep tweeting about me, talking about me, wanting to talk to me, wanting to get me, involved in my life. It was kind of disconcerting, to say the least. I think, at least in the last couple of months, I've pretty much made it abundantly clear that I really didn't want to talk to Keemstar. But then he interjects himself into an interview that I'm having on Side Scrollers that has absolutely nothing whatsoever to do with him. And he's still following me around, essentially tweeting about me and saying all this stuff. But what you guys don't know is that it's actually escalated a little further than that. Alright, so basically, today, I started receiving gifts. I got a bouquet of flowers showed up to my house. And by the way, it was a very beautiful bouquet of flowers from Keemstar. The thing is, I have allergies. And so when they showed up, I was like, oh, this is actually a really bad idea. My eyes started to tear up immediately. I started to get sneezy. I was like, oh, this is bad. Obviously he didn't do his research here. So I did have to discard the flowers. He also did send some delicious gourmet chocolates. And let me tell you something, for those who don't know, I'm a chocoholic. And so when those showed up, regardless of the situation that I am trying to avoid the guy, the chocolates are here, so I ate them. And man, they were absolutely delicious. But still, not interested. But then finally, the thing that kind of, was kind of the big deal maker for me, he sent a ginormous box of EL fudge cookies. Alright, now, we all know that those people that live in that hollow tree with Keemstar there and him, they're just experts at this. This is what they do. Those other Keebler elves and him, they're really good at making cookies. So, I used to eat EL fudge when I was a kid, and I was like, man, I can't let these go to waste either. And I started picking out, and I realized, wait a minute, what am I doing here to myself, right? I thought I made it abundantly clear, but I guess I didn't. So, now I have to make this video specifically to say publicly, directly to Keemstar, as well as the rest of the internet, I will not go out with you, Keemstar, alright? I'm sorry. I know you're interested. I know you've been trying now for about a year. And you've been really, it's like real try-hard mode. I get it. I've been there when I was younger. I had a crush on someone, and I was kind of like trying to totally get her attention constantly, and it didn't work out for me. By the way, just so you know, I am married, alright? And so I'm just not interested in you, man. I'm sorry. And I'm sorry I ate your chocolates. I should have probably just rejected them. I couldn't help it. They were so delicious. But anyway, the funny part is, obviously, everything I'm saying here is a joke, but I swear to God, with how the situation has gone in the last year, it's kind of creepy at this point. Alright? Like, you might say, why is Darkside Phil making another video about Keemstar? Does Keemstar live rent-free in his head? No, he won't stop talking about me. He's still talking about me again today, even though I made a series of announcements on this very channel in the last few days stating I want nothing to do with this man. He can't seem to get it through his egotistical head that I don't want any association with him. I will never work with him under any circumstance. He doesn't seem to get it. Like, it's kind of like a stalkerish person who's trying to go out with someone and won't take no for an answer and just keeps trying. Like, no, I don't want to work with you, but there's a chance? No, there's no chance. I still don't like you. I still don't want to work with you. I don't think that you're ethical. I want nothing to do with you. Oh, but maybe if I say it this way, or maybe if I threaten, or maybe if I say it nicely, or maybe if I offer this, or maybe... No. You know what I'm saying? So, to get everyone caught up here on what's going on, because I'll very, very briefly summarize it. Keemstar wanted me to be on a podcast with Boogie and Wings of Redemption last year. He wanted to call it the Lol Cow Cast, and he wanted to offer us each $50,000 to be on this show. Okay? I didn't want to do it, because I want nothing to do with the guy. If I wanted to be on a podcast with Boogie and Wings, I would just try to do it outside of having his involvement. I don't like Keemstar as a person. I don't like him as a businessman. I don't trust him. I want nothing to do with him. So he kept trying to contact me last year, and it didn't work out. He literally couldn't call me at the times I told him to call, and he wouldn't email or DM me the details of anything, so it just died. Out of nowhere this year, he shows up during an interview I'm having on the Side Scrollers. He has nothing to do with the interview. He has nothing to do with me or my life, but he interjects himself personally into the interview for no reason, talking about this show. I'm like, I don't want to do this show with you. Like, what are you talking about? Like, you're out of your mind. What it is this guy seems to have in his head that he is so important, he is so powerful and rich or whatever it may be, that no one can ever say no to him. That there's got to be a miscommunication, or there's got, you can't say no. For some reason, if he makes an offer, someone has to accept it no matter what. That's not reality, but that's the reality that apparently he lives in. So, he's been stalking me, literally for a year. He won't leave my name out of his mouth. He keeps constantly bringing me up, insulting me, but then he wants me on his show. Then he threatens me to be on it. Threats aren't going to get me on your show. I'm already not interested, and now you threaten me on top of it. It's not going to work, all right? So the only reason this is coming up this week is because recently, behind the scenes, I had some conversations with a third party who was representing Boogie and Wings, saying, hey, they're interested in getting you on a podcast with them. Basically the show that Keem wanted to do, but without Keem. Let's do it. And I said, I'd be interested. We were supposed to wait until Boogie and Wings had their boxing match. I guess it's in a week or two. And when they were done with that, we were supposed to have conversations about it and maybe get it going and see what would happen. But we literally didn't even have a conversation about it yet in person. It was just ideas through a third party. Okay? Well, what ended up happening was Boogie let slip that we had been talking about this because he was interviewed by the Side Scrollers, I guess, this past week. And when he let it slip on the show that this was happening, I guess Keemstar became infuriated that we would do a podcast without him. And he went back to Boogie and Wings and basically said, well, now I'm going to offer them their money again, their 50 grand, only now I'm going to find a third host because Phil doesn't want to do it. So he makes a tweet about this Friday night on his Twitter. DSP has been kicked off the Lol Cow Cast, and we're going to find a third member. Who should it be? Everyone give me your opinions. And I read, I'm like, I'm not on the podcast. I never was. I never talked to him about it. I never agreed to do it. How can you kick me off of a podcast I'm not on? Again, it's delusion. It's actual egotistical delusion, like a stalker who won't leave you alone and is creating this weird narrative in their head when they get rejected. Okay? So, I publicly made a video here a couple nights ago telling you all what was going on, saying, hey, listen, the only thing that's happening from my understanding is I'm having a conversation with Boogie and Wings behind the scenes about a podcast with us. I don't know about him being involved with anything because he's not. That's not the discussion we're having. If he thinks he's involved, I want nothing to do with it. So I don't know what he's talking about. I was never on his show. He's nuts. Okay? The next morning, I get told by a bunch of people, well, now what's happening is Keemstar's upset, and so he contacted Boogie and Wings, and he's trying to do the show without you, and he offered them the money again. So that whole podcast with you guys is off the table. And I'm like, well, I don't know. They said nothing to me. I did reach out to them. I tried to get an answer. I didn't initially get an answer. They ignored me. So I talked on my podcast the next day, I think this was like Saturday morning, and said, listen, here's the deal. I wish Boogie and Wings the best, but I'm done with this drama. I want nothing to do with it. I'm just completely done with it. I just want to move on with my life and not be involved in any of this stuff. I'm done with it. The answer is, if it has any involvement with Keemstar, I don't want involvement. I'm moving on. So, good for them. If they want to do business with Keemstar and they make a lot of money and they find a third host and they make $1 million each, great for them. I don't care. Just leave me out of it. Completely leave me alone. I'm done. Okay? And that's where I left it Saturday morning. I think that's it. That's the end of it, right? I said my piece. We're done. I get up this morning. Everyone's telling me, oh, did you know Keemstar tweeted about you again? I'm like, what? Like, have I not made it abundantly, straightforwardly clear? Again, it's like the mindset of a stalker that won't take no for an answer. He keeps talking about me. So now he made a tweet overnight saying DSP now has 48 hours to publicly apologize to the Lolcow cast, and then he can be on the show again. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Are you deaf or stupid or both? Okay? Wow. You know, I really feel at this point, and I wish I were joking. I'm starting to get scared. I'm starting to think I should contact someone about getting a restraining order against this guy. Like, he won't take no for an answer. I've said it a million times. I want no involvement with Keemstar whatsoever. Alright? None. I don't want nothing to do with this man. I want him to leave me alone and stop mentioning him, stop considering me for a show or any projects. I want no business relationship whatsoever with Keemstar ever. In my entire life. Done. And when I'm dead and buried, I don't want you digging up my body for things either. Or when I'm burned and I'm cremated, I don't want you trying to get my ashes. Alright? I want you away from me. I want nothing to do with you. At all. I don't understand why this guy keeps bringing me up. I don't get it. I'm at a loss. It's, again, the only thing that I can think of is that I'm the only person in his entire life who's actually told him no. That I don't want to do anything with him. And he can't handle that. He can't handle the fact that someone would say no. Especially someone like me who he knows I could use money. It would help me. But I have morals. And some people say, oh, you can't swallow your pride. There's a difference between swallowing your pride or actually having an ethical code that tells you don't do business with this person who does things you don't stand for. I don't like the way that he operates. I think he's hurt people. I even hear more stories. I keep hearing more stories about how he just started a new show called the Keemstar Show. And apparently within a couple of months of the show running, one of the hosts wanted to quit and he gave him a hard time, and now he's slandering that person. It's like, wow, here's a case in point. Something he just did, a business relationship that fell apart, and now this guy's being destroyed by Keemstar because he has a business relationship with him. So how would that be a good example of how I would want to go into business with someone? I'd be nuts, right? So, listen, again, Boogie and Wings can do absolutely whatever they want, and they can find a third host for the show. I don't care. I want nothing to do with a Lolcow cast, and never did. Any show I was going to have involvement with wasn't going to be like that. It was going to be a serious show with serious topics where we have some self-respect and treat each other with dignity, not call each other lolcows and act like assholes, okay? So, I hope now, after publicly making this video, and I certainly hope everyone will share this video. Share it with the whole fucking internet. Let them know. I, Phil Burnell, Darkside Phil, am making it known. First of all, I don't want to go out with Keemstar. I'm married and I have no interest in him whatsoever. And number two, I want no business relationship with him whatsoever. None. No relationship at all. Leave me alone. Don't mention me. Don't bother me. I'm going to stay here and make content for my audience, and I want nothing to do with you. I'm publicly stating it as clearly and concisely as possible. Alright? So, do I want to be on the Lolcow cast? Well, let me think about it. No. No, I don't want to be. Alright? At all. I'm telling you as abundantly clear as I can make it. I want nothing to do with it at all. There's no circumstance where I'm going to change my mind. There's no circumstance where it's worth the hassle, the trouble, and being stalked all over the internet. Alright? I'm done with it. Please, leave me alone. I'm trying to be as nice about it as possible at this point. All cracks aside about you being a Keebler elf, even though, you know. Yeah, I'm done. I just don't want to deal with it anymore. Alright? Leave me alone. You have fun with your guys over there. You make money. Good for you. I don't even know how I even came up in the discussion because I never had any association with Keem before. You know what I mean? Like, it just doesn't even make sense. And again, I literally got kicked off the podcast 2 days ago, even though I wasn't on it. And now, 2 days later, more tweets. Oh, he could be back on if he apologizes. What are you talking about? This is literal, not logical thinking. This is like crazy person thoughts in their head. Oh, he really wants to be on the show. No, he really wants to be on the show. We're just gonna give him another chance. Maybe he'll do it now. Maybe he'll do it now. No, I don't. Leave me alone. And I mean it too. Like, if this continues, I might have to start looking into, like, what can I do to protect myself from someone who won't leave me alone? I'm tired of it. At this point, it's become like a mass campaign against me to keep bringing me up in a negative way. I'm done with it, man. I don't bring up Keem unless someone brings him up talking about me first. I don't care about this guy. We couldn't be further apart in mindset and what we do with content on the internet. So why do I have to keep being in his mouth? And why do I have to keep bringing it up? I don't want to anymore. I'm done. Alright? So please stop. Everyone out there, stop the madness. Because that's what it is. I have no interest in any of this shit. I just want to be here making fun, chill content for my audience and be left alone from this worldwide drama that everyone keeps trying to pull me into. I have no interest in your bullshit. Leave me out of it, okay? So, am I going to be on the Lolcowcast? No. Do I have interest in working with Keemstar? No. Am I going to go out with Keemstar? No. Do I like chocolate? Well, yes, I like chocolate. But I'm not going to be eating any more chocolate from Keemstar. I've had enough. I'm now washing my hands of it publicly. This is it. I'm done. If anything else is said out of that man's mouth, he's nuts. Just as soon as he says DSP at all in a tweet, in a video, any of his content, he's nuts. He's an obsessed person who needs to be stopped. Quite frankly, authorities need to be involved at this point because he won't leave me alone, and I'm tired of dealing with this guy. Leave me alone, all right? That's as clear and effing concise as I can possibly make it, and I hope that message is now abundant to everyone, and we can stop wasting our time with this nonsense. Thank you for watching, everyone. Hope you enjoyed. And now, back to normality. Although, I may have a few EL fudges left to finish up. Thanks for watching.
I got the drip going. 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 It's like a faucet that's dripping. You can't make it stop. So what do you want me to do? Have a mute button that every second I'm tapping the mute button just in case I'm gonna have to clear? Like, this is what I mean, these dumb kids. This is what it is, it's dumb kids.